we're really great at certain things. And so today I'll talk a little bit about some of the things that we think that we've had some great success with around how we do governance and the fact that we are focused on sustainability and what it is that we've done around innovation. I don't always share slides. What I usually do when I speak is I'm on a one wheel. It's like the size of a skateboard. It's like a motorcycle skateboard, and I roll back and forth. And I talk about this, and I talk about that, and I roll. But I don't have, the airplane wouldn't let me take the one wheel today, or when I came. So I'm here just walking around like a normal person. I'm not floating like I'm in the future. And what I will discuss with you today is some big concepts. Now, I don't often use slides, but here I'm going to, just to be sure that I can reinforce a few simple concepts around governance, sustainability, and innovation. I will take some time to let you ask questions if you have any. So I would encourage you to be courageous and ask some questions. Before I jump in, I'm going to say something about honor and respect. And that there can be honorable approaches that are both noble and savage. Savage is not bad, and nobility is not good. Nobility and savagery, or humility and confidence, are different ways that we express ourselves, and both of these ways can be done in an honorable and a respectful way. Something that I've come to understand about the Istanbul culture is that honor is of the highest priority, that people want to be honored and that people show honor to one another. And I think that that's a wonderful thing, and I'm happy to be here and to enjoy that part of your culture, and I have enjoyed that. I felt very honored by all of you that have welcomed me to your country, and I hope to come back many, many times. So I want to talk about this concept of nobility and savagery, or you could say humility and confidence. I don't really know what the right word is here, but I like noble savage. That's kind of my thing. And I want to talk about how nobility and savagery is really important as you think about the concepts I'm going to discuss when it comes to innovation for the enterprise by the enterprise. First of all, we live in a world that is divided, or that's what the media would tell us, right? That we're divided, that we're either Democrats or Republicans in America, or that we're part of the Labour Party or the Conservative Party in the UK, that either we are Muslims or we are Christians, that we are this ethnicity or that ethnicity, that we're male or female, that we're young or old. Now, are we really as divided as the global leaders or the media might want us to believe? Now, why would they want us to believe we're divided? Because divided people are easy to control. You see, if they're evil, and if you're part of the good guys, then whoever's in charge of the good guys can easily control you. They can manipulate you. They can get you to march to their drumbeat and say what they want you to say and do what they want you to do because you're part of the good guys and those are the bad guys. Well, this happens in innovation. This happens in enterprises. This happens in governments, is that we often will have people try to divide us. And so it's like, I'm part of Avalanche, and that's the good guys. I'm part of the good guys. And I use AVAX. And everybody else, those are the bad guys. And I would propose to you that it's not about good and bad. It's about there's honorable, respectful things in all of these environments. And sometimes things don't always resonate with us because maybe some groups are more noble, more humble, more meek, where other groups might be more savage, more confident, more aggressive. But you see, one is not better than the other. Both can be quite honorable. Both can be loving. Both can be service-oriented. You know, with everything that went on with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried, everything that went on with Luna, I got really, really concerned. So I started talking about nobility and savagery, and what I would say is that we need more noble leaders. We need more leaders that are noble, that act like kings and queens, that are here to lead by service, that are here to lead by example, that are here to set the tone of humility and respect and kindness But we need more savage communities. We need communities to be savage and to demand nobility from leadership. We need communities to be savage and to be unstoppable, to be confident, to believe in themselves, not to cast stones at others, but to drive forth toward their specific goals and objectives. And so I want you to keep that in mind. As I talk about some of the things that we find to be really exciting at Hedera, please understand that in no way do I express a distaste for the other layer 1 blockchains or layer 2 blockchains. In no way do I see us as superior to others in all ways. We just think we're pretty good at a couple things. And we believe that the innovations that we have done around governance, sustainability, and innovation are the type of things that governments and enterprise corporations and institutions can really lean into with great confidence. And so I just want to kind of set the tone before I get started to just be very clear that I've worked with most of the blockchains in the space. And part of that's because I've been running or co-producing different blockchain events since 2017. In 2017, I started these blockchain and AI events at the Twitter's headquarters on 10th and Market, where Elon Musk walked in with a sink recently and took over and changed the name to X. But at that time, I was the entrepreneur in residence at the innovation hub inside of Twitter, and I did not know what was going on. I was very confused. Everybody's talking about cryptography, and everybody's talking about AI, and I didn't know what anybody was really actually doing. I was wondering where the future lied. And I figured, well, I'll just invite everybody that's leaders, and I'll have them come to Twitter, because that place is cool. And if I ask, hey, you want to come to Twitter and speak at an event? Everybody's be like, yeah, that sounds great. I want to go to Twitter. That place is cool. So it was easy to draw all the people. And because of that, I remember when CryptoKitties first hit and Dapper Labs comes out with that, the first NFT, and I'm right there, week 1, learning about it. Right? I remember when all the ICOs start to hit, and when the ERC20 tokens start to be built off the Ethereum network, and all these different ICOs are cropping up, and I remember thinking, wow, I'm right there in the midst of all that energy. And also AI. I remember getting the very first Amazon Alexa in 2014. If you don't know, Amazon just announced that Alexa 2.0, a full LLM, large language model, is now being released. If you don't know, Apple Siri. My 3 friends founded Apple Siri. And 2 of those men went and founded then Samsung Bixby. Many of you are familiar with Google Assistant. And so you look at these AI tools, voice as an interface, and you think about the innovation of speaking to a computer, speaking to a machine. It's speaking back to you in your own language, not being dependent on 10 fingers on a keyboard or 2 thumbs on a piece of glass. You think about these innovations, and you start to say, how quick is innovation going to go when you bring together blockchains like Hedera with AI like OpenAI and ChatGPT? What's going to happen when we begin to merge these things and when governments and enterprise begin to adopt these things? As I start my presentation, I'm going to start with the idea of governance. Now, why does governance matter? The reason governance matters is because there are 3 primary ways that people think about governance. So the first way is democracy. And most people say, well, democracy is the best because democracy is trustworthy. It's the consensus of the many. Well, the problem with democracy is it's very slow. So you can often get nothing done in a democracy. You might trust everybody because everybody has a voice. Everybody has a voice, but it's really slow to get anything done. So then you say, well, what's so wrong with tyranny? Why not dictatorships? Dictatorships, you can move quick. Hey, as soon as something needs to be done, one person makes a decision. Well, because there's no trust. And so how can you trust somebody with so much power? And so then you go back to democracy, and then you finally get frustrated. Okay, democracy's too slow, and dictatorship's too powerful. Anarchy, that's the way. And just leave me alone. I'm going to do what I want. You do what you want. We are independent people. Nobody tells anybody what to do. And then the thought around Hedera would be a council of the few. Why a council of the few? Because a council of the few is not a democracy that is slow, although trusted. It is not a tyranny that is fast, although lacks trust. And it certainly is not an anarchy. where nobody has any sense of accountability. Instead, it is a few people that are able to make decisions quickly. Now, at Hedera, the people that we decided to trust were companies like Boeing and DLA Piper and IBM and Google. And so you are familiar with these logos, but you know what? How many startups have put logos like these on the screen? It doesn't mean anything, except for these companies actually make up our council. And so these 29 organizations, and we're growing this to 39, so if there's a large organization, I heard about a company here in Turkey called Coach, I think that's right. Like, you know, they have a football team, they have a bank. I mean, I imagine a company like Coach coming to us and saying, well, what can you do, Hedera, for us? And then I would say to Coach, well, actually, what can you do for the Hedera network? Because these organizations are coming to the table with action. They run our nodes. They are the ones that run our distributed ledgers. They're the ones that run our servers. They're the ones that ensure we have uptime. They're the ones that ensure that our sustainability is on point. They're the reason why we have one set fee for transactions and we don't have gas fees that go up and down. These are the folks that allow us to scale. And so this is the governing council. I believe that Hedera has the most decentralized governance model of anything in the world right now. And we were inspired by Visa. Right? Visa wanted to institute this idea of credit cards. And for those of you that don't remember, credit cards is a new thing. Nobody used to finance their burritos, right? We didn't go finance a hamburger. That's a new idea. You didn't go up to the bar and actually borrow money to buy the drink. That's a completely new concept. It was just a generation ago that you spent the money you had, and that was it. If you borrowed money, it was for a house, it was for a car, not for daily activities. And Visa said, how do we gather all the big financial institutions and lend credit to people on a daily basis for things like credit cards? I want to talk about sustainability. I mentioned Visa being a great inspiration for our governing council. Well, we also were looking at Visa and saying, how much energy is an organization like Visa actually using per transaction? How much energy is blockchain using all these different protocols? I mean, I love Bitcoin. I believe Bitcoin is, obviously the most decentralized of all. Nobody even knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is, whether it's a man or a woman or a team of people. But it completely changed the way that we do finance with decentralized finance opportunities. When you look at Hedera being the greenest blockchain, what you see is just the amount of energy that it takes in order to do a transaction. And so even Visa is quite energy demanding. It takes 1,000 times more energy to do a transaction with Visa than it does with Hedera. So any government or any enterprise that is truly interested in pursuing good environmental practices ought to at least look into this. Now, this was done by the University College of London. UCL is one of our 29 council members. So I'd say that as a disclaimer, but this was an independent study that they did that was independently funded in order to check and see, what does it look like for people to use these different blockchains and how sustainable are they really? Finally, before I take questions, I will talk about innovation. Now, there are many layer 1 blockchains and layer 2 blockchains that would put themselves in this third category I'll show, which is the third iteration of the blockchain. I think all of us can agree that the first iteration of the blockchain was Bitcoin. And then the second was when Ethereum came. And that really changed everything in terms of Ethereum instituted smart contracts. Ethereum was faster. Ethereum was less expensive. Ethereum was more sustainable in terms of the environmental impact. And then we at Hedera approached the market with a private blockchain. So Hedera was originally a private blockchain built for the enterprise, by the enterprise, and only recently was Hedera made a public blockchain. And in doing that, our goal that we're driving toward is 10,000 transactions per second. We charge a fraction of a penny per transaction. We're lightning quick, 3 to 7 seconds, and the kilowatts used is so low that not only are we able to buy the carbon offsets in order to be carbon neutral, we buy more carbon offsets in order to be a carbon positive company.